Hey guys, back here again, Blast Wave with another video. I have a video to make about Sony. Sony versus Canon versus, well, so actually, you know what? Really, it's Nikon and Canon versus Sony because Sony is just dominating the market right now. The A7R2, what am I saying? A7R3, the A7 III, and the A9 are just dominating. I personally, in the A9 situation, I'd rather have a 1DX Mark II or a. Actually, I'm not really a big fan of the D5 because it can't do that slow mo. I'd rather have a 1DX Mark II over the A9. I'd rather have an A9 over the D5. Nothing against Nikon, but at the moment, in the lower levels, not everyone can afford that. In the lower levels of cameras, around the $2,000 mark of DSLRs and DSLMs or mirrorless or whatever you want to call them, there's not much competition from Nikon and Canon against Sony. There's not much. The A7 III right now is at the top of its game. It's just unrivaled. You could say the GH5 competes with it, but that's not full frame. That's in another league of its own. Like the GH5 is doing fine. People don't use the GH5 for photos. They just use it for video. Like that's a mainly video focused camera. If you own a GH5, you do not use it for video. I don't know what you're doing. This is full frame market where you have a hybrid camera. The GH5 is just a sole purpose video. It's not solely purpose, but that's what it's mainly used for, just video. The Sony A7 III is in a marketplace where most consumers will buy. Full frame, most consumers are going to buy. At $2,000 mark, not too expensive. Because 3,000. Look at the A50. That looks expensive, but you see 2,000. You're like, I could go with that. I can go with that because I still have 1,000 left for a lens. What do I? There's just nothing that Canon and Nikon are putting out right now that has anything to really compete against Sony. The 60 Mark II, just 1080p, 60 FPS video, and it only has a single SD card slot. I would never use that. I can understand that. Like I don't mind it in my EDD or my T5i, but in my A7 III, I like having those dual card slots on my A7 III. That's why I got one over the D8. Well, not the D850, but the A7, the 60 Mark II and the D850. D850 has dual card slots. That's good, but they're both UHS-1, and it only does 1080p 60 video. And another problem with it is Nikon's autofocus. I'm sorry, but it's just shit. It's just really shit. The autofocus is just shit. It's just not good. But I feel like the D750, as it's aging, almost becoming 4 years old, it's better. It's better than the 60 Mark II, which came out about a year ago. That's a 3-year difference. Oh, probably about a 3-year difference, but still, Canon, what are you doing? Nikon's dominating your camera, your current gen camera. The only thing I see better with this is the video for vlog. This is a vlog-centric camera. It's a dual pixel AF, and you get like a 24 to 105 or a 16 to 35, something like that. Something like that you put up there, and then there you go, vlogging kit right there. But if you're going for stills, let's say you want to do a wedding and you just want to do fitted, like you just want to do photos, just stills. You don't want to do any video. I'm sorry for calling it D8. The D750 looks really tempting against a brand new camera. I can understand you can't live view autofocus, but I could go without live view autofocus. And then the Sony A7 III versus the 60 Mark II. Canon's dual pixel AF. That's really what's holding them up there. That's really the only thing that's really holding them up. Is that dual pixel AF. But Sony's autofocus is catching right up. It's about on par, and it's really good. I just don't think that Canon should be sulking around. If they don't do something with this mirrorless project, if not Sony, I'm sorry, this is all improv. But if Canon and Nikon don't do something with this mirrorless thing, and they don't get it close to on a par with that $2,000 camera that they're gonna have to compete with the Sony A7 III, it's over. I'm sorry, but this might sound clickbaity, but I don't see them in the market that much more. It's just like if you don't captivate, because not everyone's gonna buy a 1DX Mark II and a D5 or a D850 or a 5D4. The 5D4 also is disappointing. It's a good camera for stills, I guess, but I'd rather get a 5DSR over it. It's kind of disappointing in the video department. But not everyone's going to be buying those expensive cameras, those $3,000, $6,000 bodies. Not everyone's going to buy those. People need entry-level full frame. This is what gets them into being a semi-professional, going all the way to professional. This is what really captivates them. And Sony's captivated me. I never thought I would ever switch to Sony. So the A9, I'm like, whoa, that's really nice. But, I'm waiting for something with a lower, with a megapixel count similar to that, but cheaper. The A7R3 came out, and I'm like, that's good, but I want something with better low light, because of all those megapixels, that it might not have the best low light. And then the A7 III came out. It's literally a baby A9. Same exact megapixel count. Not same sensor, but same exact megapixel count. 24.2, or is it 24.3? I'm sorry, correct me in the comments, I'm sorry. This is all improv, I'm sorry. But it's on 10 frames per second. Electronic, silent, no sound at all, and mechanical shutter. 10 frames per second. The 60 Mark II and the D750 do 6.5 frames per second. I know you could say, oh, maybe the 60 Mark II has 26 megapixels, 26.2. No one cares. No one fucking cares. Sony's dominating the market with a camera that the camera a few years ago would be considered high-end. I mean this seriously. This camera, not D850, but the A7 III is competing with the 5D Mark IV, something that's over $1,000 more than it. It is beating it. It might not have that megapixel count, but it has it has those SD card, UHS-2 and UHS-1, where the 5D Mark IV is using compact flash, old technology from like the OG digital cameras, compact flash, and a UHS-1. If they put a UHS-2 in a compact flash, I would be less mad. But 95 megabytes per second, that's the most you can get. And then out of the compact flash, 160 megabytes per second max. Where this one card, just a UHS-2 card can beat both those speeds combined together. It's beating out a $3,000 camera. Canon, you have to be the guys who are innovating. You used to be those guys who were innovating. It's just crazy to see this happen. The Nikon D850 is an amazing camera. Just the only problem I have with it is the autofocusing. XQD was great to put in there. I know it's not really widely used, but it was a great idea to put in there. And then the UHS-2, boom, boom, boom. Nikon got that $3,000 mark. If they just had better autofocus, it would be hand-to-hand combat with Sony's A7R3. It would be hand-to-hand combat. But the D850 versus the 5D Mark IV and versus the A7 III, the 5D Mark IV does not look too good in this battle because it does not do that 1080p 120 FPS slow-mo. It does 720p 120 FPS slow-mo. 1080p at 60. I don't like that. Canon, you must improve. Nikon and Sony are both beating you. And Nikon, you must improve because Sony is beating you. I used to look at Canon and be like, whoa, that's really good. Those cameras are nice. And then I was like, wow, my ADD is great. And then I was looking at the A7 II, and I was like, I wouldn't really bet. No one really recommend getting that camera. It's not that good. And then the A9 came out. I'm like, whoa, Sony out of nowhere, and that's a lot less than Canon's offering and Nikon's offering. And then A7R3 came out, and I'm like, whoa, Sony, that's a little crazy. That's really good. And then I see the A7 III. Then I see the A7 III, and it's just dominating the market. And I'm thinking, holy crap. Sony might be on top now. I just don't know what to say about. I don't really know what to say about Nikon and Canon right now. They need to nail that $2,000 market with a nice entry level full frame camera. Okay, this is what you're going to need. I will give you what you need. I'm going to give you the specs. If Canon's never going to watch this video, they never no one's going to watch this video, so it doesn't matter. Probably like one person, but you're going to need a 24 or 30 megapixel sensor, which I'm hoping you do like something like 30 megapixels, because 24 right now it's the norm. The 80D got it, the T7i got it. Even though those are APS-C, they still got 24 megapixels. Going to need something around 10 frames per second. 10 frames per second, something like that. 7D Mark II can do it. I think you guys can do it. You're going to need silent shooting. Not that silent shutter where it sounds like a suppressed tank cannon. It's still like patong, patong, patong. You can still hear it. I'm looking at you, Nikon D5. And gonna need dual card slots. No more 6D Mark II bullshit. None of that. I'm not accepting one. Even if it competes with the Sony A7 III in every market and outdoes it. If you do not have dual SD card slots, I won't even look at it. I won't even try and get a review sample for my job. I'm not even gonna get one from Peace Camera. I'm not even gonna do it. Never. And also, you're gonna need a good sized battery. I know that sounds off, and it's like, well, Canon's no, because remember what Sony did back at the A7, the A7 one, A7, the first A7s. Those batteries are shit. They overheated. They lasted like a virgin. Those are virgin batteries. They don't last at all. You need a big battery in there too. You're gonna need a long lasting battery like Sony's FZ100s. Those are really good. I'm really glad they put that improvement. I was really surprised they did in the A7 III because I thought they were going to put the old NP batteries in there. I'm glad they didn't. So with Canon, you can nail the 30 megapixel sensor, 10 frames per second, dual SD card slots, great battery life, in the whole nine. You guys gotta compete against Sony. The one thing that you guys have over Sony is your glass. You have way more glasses than them. You have a 300 2.8, 200 the 200 1.8, the 200 f2. I know the 1.8's not really, it's not made anymore, but still I love that lens more than the f2 because it's cheap. You can get it for cheaper on eBay. I picked one up for $1,000. And you're also going, and they also have that name recognition that over Nikon is over 100 years old and Canon is over 80 years old. So they got that name in there. If someone's gonna name a camera company, they're gonna say Canon or Nikon. They're not gonna say Fuji. They're not gonna say Pentax. They're not gonna say Sony. They're not gonna say anything like that. You're gonna need a nice electronic viewfinder. You're gonna need a nice electronic viewfinder. And people say I see doom and gloom for DSLRs. I don't see doom and gloom for DSLRs because if I dropped my friend Sony A9, I don't know what would happen to it. I don't know. It could survive. It couldn't. Or another thing that Canon has, their glass is cheaper. Sony 70 to 200 2.8 for 25 or like $2,600. That's fucking crazy. Sigma, Tamron, come out with a 70 to 200 2.8 for Sony, and you will captivate the world. Sony will captivate this world. Canon, your 70 to 200 2.8 Mark III was a disappointment. It let me down a whole fucking lot. Canon, I don't even know what the fuck you were doing when you made that lens. It's just whiter and a different line of text. It's all this different. So you guys need to get your shit together, and the Mark IV better be fucking amazing. They better fucking blow my pants off. They better blow my freaking socks off. But as I was saying before, I don't see the doom and gloom for DSLRs. I see the end of an era of OVS, optical viewfinders. I feel like there's going to be the Sony Alpha series. Not the A7 and the A9 and stuff. No, the Alpha DSLTs. Digital translucent mirrors. I feel like the DSLR is going to become DSLTs. They're going to have DSLR bodies. They're going to have a translucent mirror. like the Sony A99 and all those cameras like that, A77, the A58. This is A58, yes, those cameras. I feel like it's gonna be like, and the A68. I think they have that too. I feel like it's gonna go that direction. Sony can come back out with those Alpha series cameras and do even in steamroll over another company. They will be a really big competitor in the market. Canon, if you can come up with a 1DX Mark III that has an electronic viewfinder, that would be amazing. I don't see that happening, but if you can come up with the electronic viewfinder 1DX Mark III, that would be great. Doing 20 frames per second, or even crazier, 24 frames per second, and then Nikon will come out with something that does like 22 frames per second. Something crazy like that. And Sony will come up with the A9 Mark II, and that will do like fucking 30 frames per second. But Canon, Nikon, if you do not get your stuff together, I will see you like Pentax. The K1 Mark II was barely different. I do not want to see Pentax fail. I do not want to see Canon fail. I do not want to see Nikon fail. I do not want to see any camera brand fail. I want you guys to keep thriving and surviving. I know that Canon's kind of moving away from the camera business because they want to show people that they make other things. But still, don't just give up on a business that you built over 80 some years. And same with Nikon. Don't give up on a business that you took 100 years to make. You guys have to innovate. You guys have to push the boundaries. I know that you guys are trying to save money and stuff like that. I know you guys are just like putting this like, let's make a full frame 80D, because that's what the 60 Mark II is. It's a fucking full frame 80D. Sorry for my language. It's just a full frame 80D. That's all it is. You guys are going to have to really blow people away to win back people. A nice YouTuber I watch, he just switched from Canon to Sony. I didn't expect him to do it, but he did. And Jared Polin might be doing the same. Jared Polin has been a Nikon shooter for a long time, and he might be switching to Sony. Canon, Nikon, get your stuff together and do better. Your 60 Mark III and the D860 or D880, the D760 or D780, I don't know what you're going to call it, but those cameras, when they come out, they're going to be blowing socks off. Canon, you got 2 more years to improve. The 60 Mark III better be doing 4K 60 FPS video, full frame, freaking downsampled from 6K with no pixel binning, and 100 and 1080p and 100, I don't know, 180, 240 FPS. Same thing with you, Nikon. You better at least do 120 and 4K 30 full frame, and fix that autofocus system. Fix that freaking autofocus system. Because if you did that on the D850, you guys would have been amazing. That's all I have to say. Have the best man win.